Hey, and welcome back to the Simplistic YouTube channel. I am Ashley. I'm a holistic nutritionist and I specialize in women's hormones. And today we're going to be talking about an essential mineral that plays a huge part in our teeth, our bones, our hair, and our nails. And I'm sure you've guessed it, it is calcium. We're going to be talking about one really effective and free, if you're already buying the food it comes from, way to get calcium into your diet in the most bioavailable, the most elemental form with some of the most rapid results that we've seen. Calcium bicarbonate is what we're going to be talking about today. So calcium is the mineral, calcium bicarbonate is the form of the mineral, and calcium bicarbonate is basically a form of calcium that comes from something you probably already have in your house, eggshells. Before we get started on this whole thing and you start brainstorming on how you're going to use eggshells in your diet, make sure that you have a reputable source of eggshells, because most eggshells are dipped in solvents and absolutely disgusting, bleached, chlorinated, and then they actually coat them with mineral oils. So we don't want to be putting those things into our bodies. Find a reputable farm, friend, whoever that has good, high quality eggshells, because the nutrients in the eggshells matter if you want to be getting those nutrients into your body. So eggshell powder is one of the most bioavailable forms of calcium we can get. It's the same calcium material that our teeth, our nails, our hair are made of, and our bones. And what we've run into today, and I see this in all of my clients, is a calcium imbalance. People either have really high calcium in the form of a calcium shell, which means that calcium is being deposited in places it shouldn't be, or they have low calcium because they just don't have enough bioavailable in the diet, or maybe they've been supplementing with calcium or doing other weird calcium things that are causing it to deposit in other places since it's not bioavailable and since we don't have enough magnesium and vitamin K to get it to where it needs to be. Calcium reduces pain. It lowers the incidence of bone wasting. It actually can arrest the bone wasting that may currently be happening. So this calcium carbonate can stop that bone wasting, that bone density being lost, turning into that like spongy, porous material. That's not what we want for our bones. We don't want our bones to look like bird bones. Another really cool characteristic of calcium is that it can bind fluoride. So fluoride is not something that we should be putting in our toothpaste, putting in our water, regardless of what your dentist says or what your doctor says. This isn't medical advice, but fluoride is a neurotoxin, and they put a lot of money behind the propagation and the brainwashing of getting fluoride everywhere. And it's really, really quite fascinating if you just jump into the studies how quickly you can see that this is not at all true. So calcium takes this fluoride and it gets it out of the body quicker. It makes it so it's not as absorbable in the body, which is great. So that is just one extra bonus to all the other things that I'm about to share. Another really cool thing about fluoride pertains specifically to my practice is the GI upset that people are often experiencing from poor diet, not having enough nutrients, whatever it may be. But calcium actually helps to bring down GI symptoms because it helps in healing the digestive tract. So if you're having digestive symptoms, getting your calcium checked by a functional practitioner or someone like me doing an HTMA is a great way to make sure that your calcium levels are optimal, and then finding out what to do if they're not. Now let's jump into calcium bicarbonate. So calcium bicarbonate from the eggshells is going to be really, really supportive of your body, especially because of the low incidence of heavy metal contamination and toxicity in it. So we see really, really low to non-existent levels of aluminum, lead, mercury, and then in other like bone meal powders and things like that, we see these levels are really high because the bones are really high in those heavy metals from the food they're eating, the soil, whatever it may be. But with the eggshell powder, we don't deal with that. And we're getting 39% elemental, meaning 39% bioavailability. So if you go and get a supplement from the store that's like 1,000 milligrams calcium, it might only have 1 milligram elemental calcium, meaning that the rest of your 999 milligrams in that pill are nothing. They're filler, whereas you're just paying for like 1 milligram, but you think you're getting 1,000. So that's, not something that we want to be doing. This eggshell powder contains trace amounts of progesterone, calcitonin. There's beta immune factors in it. It's obviously high in a bunch of other minerals in addition to calcium. And it's just a really easy way to get in a bioavailable form of calcium into our diet without paying for another supplement. The calcium ion activates muscle contraction. It regulates cell movement. Calcium signaling in the thyroid cells is much more important than we've ever thought it to be. It has a huge, huge part in mitochondrial function and over like metabolic health. And like I said, this is what our nails, our teeth, and our bones are made up of. It contains 27 other minerals in addition to the calcium that, we're talking about. And we so desperately need it and don't get enough of it. But make sure you do need it before you start doing this, because you may not need it. Maybe you do have optimal levels, because I can't speak blanketly for anyone. But with all of my clients, I see that they do need it, whether it's because it's being displaced and put somewhere it shouldn't be, or because they're not getting enough in their diet. And especially if you're like a dairy-free, someone who's eating a low calcium diet, it's really essential that you are getting calcium from other sources. I recommend for my clients normally, and for myself, that you just take 1/4 teaspoon a couple times a day, or you could, do 1 teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon once a day, whatever that means, and you can add it in water. You can put it in smoothies, you can put it in baked goods, you can literally put it wherever you want. It doesn't it doesn't change the texture, it doesn't change the flavor of things, and it's there. It's a free calcium source. All you're going to do is you're going to save your eggshells, you're going to wash them out, and then you're going to put them in the oven at 200 until they kind of get brittle. Then you're going to put them in your blender or your mortar and pestle, whatever you want to do, grind them up into a powder, and you have your eggshells. It's amazing. It's free, and it's a really great way to get in that calcium. This 1/4 a teaspoon, if you did that 3 times a day, that's going to give you about 1,000 milligrams of calcium, which is a great dose. Again, this is not medical advice. This is just what I've seen work for myself and my clients. And I've actually had somebody have really low calcium do this for a couple months, and then we get their calcium tested again on their HTMA, and it's all come into balance. They are feeling much better. Their body is able to properly detoxify, their hormones balance out, all their other minerals optimize. They have a different oxidation pattern that goes on because calcium is so essential. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I can't wait